Guys, this is my World Cup Rugby League preview for the semi-finals. Australia have got Fiji. That looks tasty. Both sides have played really... I mean, Australia are the clear favourites for the tournament. I mean, make no bones about that. Fiji have been building now for near on 9 years to get to this point. They've been growing year on year. They deserve to be in that semi-final. They deserve to be playing against the world's best. The thing is, Jared Haynes, more of a fullback centre, he's playing in the 6 jersey. And that poses a few questions for, you know, the Wallop, you know, the Australian defence. So we call them the Wallabies, that's the Union side, what I'm doing. Another semi-final, England have Tonga. And Tonga have just, even though they were lacklustre against Lebanon, that was a brilliant game, and that's probably the best test they could have had to get ready for a bigger match, was to not play well and win. England didn't play well and won against Papua New Guinea, but there's the way the press have reported it, I haven't seen the game. Guess what? The timings, for some reason, apart from that one game, over here in the UK, if you take in the time difference with Australia, where it would be an evening game, to here, we're like 12, 16 hours behind, something like that. So, for you, it would be like an 8 o'clock in the evening kickoff. Fine, I get that. Over here, every other match we have played has been 9 or 10 o'clock kickoff our time. 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning is a joke. But I was kind of glad I missed it now from the... Yes, we got a lot of tries, and yes, we won the game. But, again, stuttering. If you were going to have that kind of scoreline, you expect there to be flow. England still can't put an 80 minutes together. And they will get punished. If they get to the final, they're not going to win it. I really don't see this England side being good enough even to... They shouldn't have even got to the semi-final, the way they've played in the group. And it was an easy group, and they made a fist of it. They really made a poor attempt at trying to get out of it. So, I think the Tonga are looking very, very likely to get the final. And there is an outside chance that Fiji could upset Australia here. They have the players to do it. They look scary. Looking at how they played through the group, and how they won a very difficult game against New Zealand, because it was a very stop-start, there were no tries. They could have had tries. And look at how they got out of that New Zealand game. I could see a shock on the cards in the other semi-final. But Australia are the clear favourites by a long way. They were before the tournament, and as the tournament's progressed, they just look good in every position. They look solid across the 17 that they put out on a starting day. Plus, the whole squad looks solid from top to bottom. England look lacklustre and are lucky to be there. The scoreline against Papua New Guinea doesn't suggest that, but they are lucky to be there, in my eyes. Tonga deserve to be there, Fiji deserve to be there. So 3 of the teams deserve to be at the semi-final, 1 doesn't, basically. All 3 teams, Fiji, Tonga and Australia, are unbeaten. Someone has to lose this weekend. And it could be Australia. It's not likely. There is a chance. Fiji are a good side. Tonga are a very good side. England are a lacklustre side that looks unbalanced across the team. Doesn't look quite right. The coach constantly goes, yeah, we're not good enough. The press are picking up it. The fans are noticing that there's a stuttering. The Super League players just don't look up to scratch to me. The NRL players, those players are taking a lot on their shoulders. And there's a lot of NRL players that weren't selected for some obscene reason. They play a higher standard of rugby league, a higher standard of football. So I have to ask a lot of questions about the England selection policy. And I look how Wales and Scotland did, and they were shocking. Ireland were really good for the amount of players they could choose from, but Scotland and Wales were just diabolical. And anyone who tells me that the gap between Super League and NRL is closing, you clearly have not watched how bad Scotland and Wales were. You clearly have not. They were absolutely a shit show. They were a Mickey Mouse show. They were a disgrace. Scotland players getting too drunk to get on a plane from New Zealand to Australia, including their captain Danny Brough. There are problems. There is a culture in English rugby league and Australian rugby league as well. There is a culture of the party, drugs and alcohol culture, and it's maybe not as big as it could be, but there is issues there. and players are sort of pushing the boundaries. And certain players, Zach Hardaker, Kevin Proctor, Jesse Bromwich, Sean Kane-Dow, they've been called out. But this is my preview. I'm going to try and leave it there. I think Australia are still the outstanding favourites. I think Tonga are second favourites. Fiji are a potential banana skin for Australia. England don't deserve to be at the semi-final with the way they're playing. If they get to the final, I will actually be a bit disappointed, to be honest. I like seeing other nations do well. I'm a rugby league fan, not a patriotic, thump-busting bigot like certain fans of sports, especially football. If Tonga smash England, that is a great statement for a Tier 2 nation saying, look, take us seriously. And the Tier 1 nations, both in Union and League, have got to stop pillaging the Tier 2 nations for players. They have to. For the game to grow, this pillaging of players because we cannot be bothered to develop our own has got to stop. It then forces us to develop our own rather than pillage Tonga, Samoa, Fiji. Maybe some like places like Canada or Namibia or places like that, they've been pillaged by South Africa and thing. It's got to stop. And if Tonga do over England, that is basically giving a sign to the big nation saying, look, you've pillaged us and you've lost. So we'll see what happens over the semi-finals. I think it'll be a Tonga-Australian final. If it was Tonga-Fiji, that is just every rugby league fan's complete and utter dream come true for just chaotic, attacking, crazy, physical rugby league. But I think it'll be Tonga-Australia for the final. That's my prediction. But we'll have to see what happens in training this week, any injuries, any suspensions, and we have to see, what happens from here. Thank you very much for watching. I'll have some more videos for you soon.